What's up, people? What's up, people? Welcome to the Cousins Cast, formerly known as Real Powerless People. Um, what I ended up doing was just doing a rebrand, man, for a lot of different reasons, but we just gonna jump straight into it. Call me
Yeah.
D. This is
Chuck,
and
this is
we
the Cousins Cast.
yeah, the Cousins Cast. Welcome to the Cousins Cast. Please hit the like button. All right.
Like, share, subscribe. Check us out. You can follow me also on Instagram at Chuck underscore DM3. And you can check bro out at.
Tay the Chosen on Instagram. I got like two posts, man. I'm getting older. I post a lot of silly stuff. I post some thought provoking stuff, some real stuff in the stories, but
I want to say it'd be some good stuff in the stories for sure.
yeah, my algorithm is trash for the most part, but I try to find the gems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
you got going on, Chuck, in terms of um, your art, work, like things that people can check out from you? Like, what do you do?
True. So right now I'm actually down in Florida in the Tampa area, St. Pete, Tampa area, and I'm here for an artist residency. I'm a ceramic artist, so I'm doing that right now. It's going pretty good, and I'll actually be teaching my first class through the residency this upcoming June. So if you're in the St. Pete, Tampa Bay area, you're interested in learning ceramics, beginner level, anyone and everyone is welcome. But if you're interested, come check me out. It's at the Morian Center for Clay, Morean Center for Clay. That's in the St. Pete area down here in Florida. But I'm just doing that right now. I'll be here for another year, and then I'll be figuring out where this artist journey is taking me. I've been pursuing a career in ceramics for the last few years, so that's just like a little brief synopsis about me and my professional background and kind of what I'm doing.
That's cool, man. So, with you being a teacher and whatnot, like you got students bring you apples and you know what I'm saying, trying to buddy up to you and anything
We'll,
like that.
we'll see. This will be my first. I've taught like one night classes here and there, but this will be my first actual 6 week class. So I'm curious to see. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to it, and I definitely want to give the people signing up. I want to give them the people that are signing up. I want to give them their money's worth. So I'm thinking about putting together PowerPoints and just different things to talk about and different projects to work on with the students. So we'll see, man. It should be exciting for sure. Looking forward
Okay.
to it.
Yeah. I look forward to hearing how well it's going to go because I know that you know what you're doing. Because when I was down there, you were showing me about the different
That's right.
and things like that. So, yeah, I
That's
definitely
right.
learned something. And I know it's going to go well, man.
I appreciate that. I
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. I'm gonna keep you updated. We'll see. It's a new journey for me for sure. It's my first time, teaching in any capacity. So,
Yeah.
but I
So
feel like I'm ready for it though.
good. Yeah. Show Chuck some love. Follow him on Instagram. Check out the Moraine
Morian,
Morian. What is it? Institute?
Morian Center for Clay.
Morian Center for Clay.
Yep.
Cool. I am not in the Tampa area, even though sometimes I wish I was, man, because
Right.
the weather up here is very
Right.
bipolar and
I'm say
schizophrenic up here, man, huh?
depending on the day of the week, right?
Man, you need a winter coat one day and the next you need some shorts, man. And
Sheesh.
sometimes I go out the house with both. I'm,
Hey,
I'm
you
just
gotta be
like I'm gonna
prepared.
take one off and
Keep an umbrella wrapped up in between both of them because you never know.
man, it's nuts. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do voice acting. I'm doing music, producing, been doing that for a long time. And also, I'm a mental health expert, so I'm still studying more on that. The reason why we're doing the cousins cast is because I do think we have different opinions about things. I'm not going to say I'm the most well researched individual on the internet about everything that we talked about, even though the stuff we talked about in the past, yeah, you know, what I mean, it's up there. But when we talk about things like the themes covered in this film centers, I'm not gonna act like I'm gonna give you the one
Right,
and only like different perspective in the world. I've seen so much, so
right.
many different people talk about this film from different
Mm,
angles. And I
okay,
respect what they have to say because it's, part of it's opinionated, but some of it is like they see the historical references. Um,
right.
but just to start off, I guess, like, what did you feel about the movie, Chuck?
I enjoyed it, man. In fact, the historical references, that probably was one of the things I liked the most about it. I also thought that the casting, I thought the actors did a great job, and I liked that there were a couple actors in there that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah,
You had some new actors. You also had Delroy Lindo did an awesome job. Um, Michael B. Jordan was excellent, obviously. Even the vampires, I thought they did pretty good too, just being kind of creepy and convincing. Um, I thought it was good. There was definitely. I'm trying to think of. There was a couple moments where I felt the skepticism creeping in, and I felt myself like, okay, you're starting to lose me a bit. But there wasn't too much of that. That was kind of few and far between, and the moments that did make me feel that way, they were. I feel like it was a reasonable place to expect the viewer to suspend reality for a moment. I'm thinking about for just to jump into it. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much, but I'm thinking of a specific scene, like when I think it was when the guy might have first changed into a vampire in front of them and tried to, maybe not the first time, but it was when he tried to bite Michael B. Jordan's arm real quick, and it just happened so quick, and to me it felt like, oh wait a second, this felt like John Wick real quick, the way he turned and started shooting them, and
oh,
it just little moments that I was like, okay, so now he's a well trained vampire killer, but overall it was good though. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
um, is I'm trying to hear if my voice was being recorded from your computer, but it sound like that stopped. But yeah,
Oh,
I think dude you talking about is cornbread.
no, I'm thinking of the white dude, the Irish. I guess they were Irish. I don't know. They started river dancing at one point, but
Yeah,
like the leader of the vampires.
that was Remick.
Actually, hold on. Maybe it was Cornbread that first tried to whenever he was about to like reach for his hand or something. He tried to bite his hand real quick. It might
That
have
was
been Cornbread.
cornbread
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
cornbread was the doorman.
That's right. And that's when he shot him in the face. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that
feel
was yeah.
say what?
No, no, I was just remembering the scene and just like, yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was good. I thought, yeah, Michael B. Jordan did an excellent job at Smoke and Stack. One of the things that stuck out to me because being an 80s baby, I remember when these different action stars and even sitcoms used to do it, where
Yeah,
they would have like somebody becomes a clone or a twin, and
yeah.
the graphics was always like subpar. In
Right.
this film, I felt like they didn't make that the focus of the movie. And that was one thing that made it seamless, but also whatever they did for, Michael B. Jordan doing the great acting and directing
That's
for
true.
Ryan
Yeah.
Coogler, and just how they set it up, like it
Right.
kind of like I say about 10 minutes in, I'm like, okay, they seem like different people.
I was gonna say I kind of forgot.
Yeah.
Like when I think back to the movie, that doesn't even stand out. Like I forget that. Oh yeah, he obviously played both the twins. It just kind of yeah, it was a natural thing for sure. And I definitely agree with what you're saying about the filming techniques and the way they edited it or whatever. Because yeah, I mean for me a '90s baby, growing up it'll be a stand-in wearing the same shirt and they're filming over their shoulder talking to the actor to simulate, oh, this is the same person. But yeah, to see them both side by side and conversations with himself and stuff like that, that was good.
Yeah, yeah. And they
Good job.
weren't so conspicuously different. Like they
Right.
were twins, but they were kind of they were a lot alike. And a lot of movies they make it where they're totally different. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Right. One is, a complete contrast of the other and kind of exaggerated versions of a good and evil a lot of times, good cop and bad cop type of scenario. But yeah, this was a good balance. You know, neither of them was a saint, neither of them was a real devil, even though we saw they
Yeah.
ended up kind of picking sides, but you know, even still you saw the dichotomy within them both and
Mhm.
the inner turmoil. That was yeah.
Now, I thought honestly, if they never even touched vampires, I thought it would still have been a really good movie. Uh,
Yep.
I know I was talking to my mother and she had a good idea about it because I'm like, well, what she said was it would have been cool too if Smoke and Stack came. Were they in Mississippi or what was it?
Uh I can't recall. They must have said where it was.
I got Google right next to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was Mississippi Delta. That's what I thought.
That's right. That's right.
So they went. It would have been cool if they came back. I think they were coming back from Chicago or New York.
That's right.
If they would have come back to
Uh,
Mississippi Delta, bought that place, turned out to
uh,
be a slaughterhouse or whatever, um, and maybe even the KKK come in at night instead of vampires, and
mm,
maybe Smoke and Stack show the people there how to stand up and fight for themselves
mm,
and shoot back and fend off
right.
the Ku Klux Klan members. Like I think that would have been a great film also.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think I said something similar to Sean. I ended up saying it with him, but I left there saying like, man, it felt like that could, like you just said, that could have been a whole storyline in itself. And before the vampires even got introduced, I'm like, damn, I wanted to see what happened with that. You know, what was that storyline about? And so yeah, that would have been very interesting. Another saying that makes me think of that, uh, kind of exploring something that I wish they dove deeper in. There was a scene where he was explaining the power of music, and then it kind of went into that almost like a dream state or a future state where you could see future, past, present, and kind of showing the connection to all these realms and the ancestors. And I almost wish there was a little bit more of that. That felt like that could have been a whole another aspect of the movie as well, the power of music. And we saw what happens when evil is attracted to that power, but we didn't necessarily see what happens when good is able to you know uplift people with music and maybe fight off the evil or save them with music somehow, or just to see both aspects of that sort of mystical uh representation of music that they show would be interesting. But
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought that was an interesting scene. I honestly I didn't love it, but I think I understood it. You know, so many different genres of music have come out of the blues.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the other part I gained from that I interpreted was that um music brings people together
Right.
regardless of the race or culture. Like people like good music, you know what I mean? And so it just kind of comes together. uh
Yeah.
I don't 100% understand what they were what they meant by how it attracted the vampires or whatever. I
Right.
didn't get that
Exactly.
part. To me, I would have thought the vampires would maybe have been attracted to the remaining blood in the slaughterhouse
Mm,
or something.
mm,
You know, it's like
right.
stained, it should be stained in the wood or something like that. But
Yeah.
so I don't really I didn't love that, and I really didn't like the river dancing scene very much.
I forgot about that part. I feel interestingly about that part too. But before I get into that, that's what was so interesting to me is like why. And when the scene happened, I could almost remember feel like it almost made me cringe a little bit. I didn't love the scene itself either. It was a little. It definitely felt out of place at the time. I was like, okay, wait a second, this is a whole other movie. Like, what's going
Right.
on now? But once they did it once, I kind of was expecting or hoping like, okay, bring it up again or like show that again or at least reference that again, the tie to the ancestors and the future lineage. I don't know. I kind of wanted more after I saw it the first time just to make it make more sense. And then the second similar thing was the river dancing scene, which kind of threw me for a loop. Personally, I was a little bit my personal bias, being having Irish descent in me. I'm like, wait a second, why are the vampires Irish? Why they not Irish? I was thrown off by that a little bit, but aside from that, yeah, I wish there was a little more explanation about the musical aspect that he's singing to him, and I don't know, I never. It was a new, I guess, take on vampirism and vampires and what they're into and how they, we never really heard that before, that they're into music and that's how they're listening to. But it was a cool take though, I guess.
Now, from my personal perspective,
Mm,
I guess my personal interpretation, because I delineate that it's a personal interpretation because I don't think this is what Ryan Coogler probably meant. But the way I kind of look at it is like blues, while it's very celebrated and it can take on different forms or whatever in terms of what people are communicating overall,
right.
for me personally, it's the music may be sung at 432 hertz or whatever,
Mm,
the love frequency.
mm.
However, the music is very depressing. It's very
Oh
heavy.
yeah, a
It's
lot of
very
pain.
sad. It's very
Oh yeah,
negative. I had a blues playlist because there was songs I like "The Thrill Is Gone" is like one of my favorite songs.
yeah.
However, when I really thought about what they singing about and how the music is amazing, the guitar players are just out of this world, singing
Hmm.
and things like that, but the content is just like
It's the blues. It's just what they call it. Yeah, you're
I,
gonna be
I
in a blues state. Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to hear about I'm so ugly on
Your
my
girl left you,
phone.
you lost your job, you can't pay
Yeah.
the bills. It's the blue. Yeah, exactly. It
And
is
like I can never obviously take anything away from the blues,
right.
and it's coming out of a depressing era. I mean
Sharecropping and yeah, exactly.
that
Yeah.
that scene with Delroy Lindo where he's
That's one of
riding,
my favorite scenes in the movie. Yep.
man, what they riding, they see
Yep.
the chain gang and then they
Yeah.
talking. I'm like,
Hold your head. Yeah.
yeah, man. I'm like, that's one of the realest scenes in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And Delroy Lindo played it to a T. It just felt so real, man. But um,
Yeah.
again, that's where the blues is coming out of. It's coming out of
Exactly. The
this,
chain gang, the sharecroppers, slavery.
yeah, that whole human
Yeah.
trafficking movement that was
Yeah.
legalized. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
like I get it, but it's hard for me to listen to. And so I'm thinking like maybe the
Yeah.
vampire was attracted to that negative frequency.
Mm. Mm.
Hey, man, these people would be itching to have a better life. You know what I'm saying? And it's a better life than living forever and feeding on whoever they want.
Mm.
In
And
the
it's interesting because he said something about what did he say? Oh, your voice was so sweet. I heard you from miles away. I just wanted to make you part of my army, and I want you to sing for me.
part of my family.
Okay, yeah, exactly. You be one of us, and you can sing with me. And
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. I thought it was gonna be an aspect where he gets the kid and he starts singing for him, and then he gets the whole Mississippi to join the vampire family because he got this such a powerful voice that he heard from miles away. Like I don't know, it seemed like they kind of referenced that a couple of times, but didn't expand upon it or expand upon the opposite. Like I was saying that somehow the kid used his voice to save them. He ended up using the guitar. He ended up using music still to defeat evil, I guess, in a way. So that was interesting, but definitely one of the best scenes though that you was just talking about. And I saw an interview about that apparently where two things. I guess one, that scene wasn't going to be in the movie first of all, and he had to tell that to Ryan Coogler that it has to be in there. But then also the kid learned to play the guitar for the movie. Or the young man, I don't know how old he is. I shouldn't say kid, but he learned to play the guitar for the movie, and that was like a freestyle little scene there. They just was going along, and he started playing that. But yeah, that was awesome. A second scene in the movie to switch gears a little bit that I thought was excellent and Sean pointed this out as well. I thought it was really cool. We both thought it was really cool when the Native Americans came
Yeah, me too.
and they were hunting the vampire, and they said like, "Is he here? We, what's to it?" And then they said no, and they left. That was the last time you saw him. It was after the evil. They was trying to chase it out, kill it, get it. They didn't want to let him get it. They said, "All right."
I think they could have brought them back later on. You know
I
what I
wish they
mean?
would have. I wish they, yeah.
Especially after the river dancing moment. Hey man,
Right,
we heard them from down the street.
right,
They
right,
over there
right.
sleeping together.
We heard y'all hit y'all ceremony. We got to hit ours. They could have came through.
Right.
Yeah, no, yeah, that could have been a whole nother. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, man. Remick was over there making a band like Diddy, man. You know what I'm saying?
He was though.
Yeah,
Had him
Travis
was.
Scott Block giving you some
I
cheesecake.
was just saying, had to go on the Fifth Street to get the
Yeah,
cheesecake and all.
Cambodian
Literally.
breast milk over there.
Hey, literally.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
man.
yeah, that was wild.
I thought the guy that played Remick did a really good job too. I think
Yeah,
his name is Jack O'Connell. He did a really good job. Like I think the thing is that when directors or cast directors get actors that we're not, or at least I'll say we're not really super familiar with. When they are playing their character, it's more pure. It's more
oh
like
yeah,
they are that
they're
character.
they are that person. You're being introduced to them as that person. You don't have
Mhm.
six other characters exactly in the back of your mind.
Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah,
and even a young man you mentioned, Miles Catone, I think, or Miles Caton. I don't know how you say it, but
true.
him being the kind of the protagonist of the film. Again, it's like, okay, I never seen him before, and I find it's also kind of interesting, um, that he looks so young, but his voice is that deep. He's got a
Yeah,
different kind of voice, so it just kind of struck me as like, okay, they're doing a lot of different kind of things in this movie,
that's true.
and
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that voice either.
yeah,
Yeah,
because when you think Hollywood, you think of, okay, all of the traditional safe options, and I feel like in terms of Hollywood, he's not a safe option. You know what I'm saying? Just
yeah,
because of his voice, literally.
that's true. Yeah.
Um, I also thought that it was interesting that they allowed um, a heavier, dark skinned woman to be like
I was,
the main love interest.
yep, and one that we're again not that familiar with. I haven't seen her in anything before either.
Yeah, her name is Wunmi Mosaku. I don't know
Mm,
what her heritage is. I think she's out of Europe though, but she obviously got African heritage. But
yeah,
I thought she did a great job. But I was just like, wow, they letting a bigger
it's.
dark skinned woman like be the love interest
Oh,
of.
you talking about okay? You talking about the other? I'm sorry. I thought you meant the woman who was cheating on her husband. You talking about the lady that was like the witch doctor and was had the little mojo. She was
Yeah.
also in. She was excellent. She's excellent. She was in Lovecraft as well,
Okay.
which is a sort of similar type genre show, but she was excellent in that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was like a voodoo priestess, but they
Right.
didn't paint voodoo as anything bad because it's not.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I think one of the things about the film that kind of made me rate it a little lower on my list, because I love From Dusk Till Dawn, right? But to me, I'm not gonna lie, I think From Dusk Till Dawn is superior. That's if I
Yeah.
had to compare them, because they're similar, right?
Unfortunately, yeah, I couldn't help but think about that movie as well while seeing this. Yeah.
But the thing that I give to this movie is that I know from my perspective is what makes my perspective what it is that I'm conditioned to American filmmaking, and I'm conditioned to what they've been doing for 100 years. So when I see something that's from the Black perspective, it's like an automatic in my mind to start
Yeah.
really rating it and saying, oh, I don't understand this part is different. And I,
Right.
but I give all the respect and kudos to the world to Ryan Coogler, because I guess what I kind of noticed from some Black films, especially with this one more than many,
Mm.
is we like to throw in a lot of different elements,
Hmm.
like
A lot of yeah.
that little music scene. that you were talking about, where all the different cultures was kind of getting together, that was a departure from horror.
Right.
You know,
And really from the rest of the storyline, sort of. Yeah.
yeah, even just dealing with the remnants of the slavery part and the Great Migration and all of that, like that
Yeah.
era, there's so much there that he could have went 10 different directions
Literally.
in film,
Literally.
but you wouldn't have thought horror in terms of
Right. Right.
vampires. So yeah, it's kind of like in my
That's
mind,
true.
it was kind of like a mixtape in a way, and I don't mean that in any kind
That's
of
a good
way.
point. No, that's a good point. I definitely hadn't heard it explained like that. I just kept saying like, wow, it felt like a bunch of different plot lines in one. And but no, that's a good point to put it that way, because the way I was looking at it was almost a complaint, almost like, oh, it was a bunch of plot lines in one. I wish they would have stuck to just one and maybe didn't have the music part, and maybe
Yeah,
he wasn't a vampire, and like you said, it was just Smoking Stack versus the KKK. And that was my first thought. But now that you put it that way, I do like the idea of like a mixtape, and just, or like a buffet type line.
yeah,
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're gonna mix this too. It's in this era, in this historic time period. So we're also gonna bring in this. We're gonna use this type of setting. So I did appreciate that. It was and I mean, let's be honest. At this point, in just entertainment in Hollywood, we've seen it all. You know what I mean? I thought
right.
Django was like a similar, not similar, but similar time period, and like a nice twist or an interesting kind of way to revive or refresh that. And this definitely sort of did that too. That it kind of, like you said, it kind of took what you know and you're expecting. Okay, this is going to happen next. They're in this town and this part, and they're sharecropping, and now they're doing this. And but then the horror, that's the last thing you're expecting. So it was
Yeah.
a good. It kept you on your toes for sure. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I can't say enough good things about the movie. I know I just happen to be I'm like I was a movie buff for a long time, so I'm very critical of certain things. But
True.
overall, man, it stands out. Even though I draw the comparison to From Dusk to Dawn, it is
But
pretty
yeah.
different, and just because of the setting and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
So yeah, I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let me see if there was anything else that I wanted to know.
I'm thinking about something that stood out to me was the I can't recall if he was supposed to be Hispanic or if he was Asian, but him and his wife, who was Asian,
Chinese.
seeing, yeah, seeing those two and their daughter as well in that setting. Historically that was like common for that time, but in Hollywood, I feel like that's the first time I've seen like an Asian family in a deep South, post-slavery sort of movie or anything like that. Usually just black and white people. So I thought that was cool to see that.
Again, it's that conditioning from Hollywood, like what they wanted to pay to put on the screen. Like there was a bunch of black cowboys that was,
Right.
never
Exactly.
got any shine in the film.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's that conditioning. When we see something that's more inclusive, we're like,
Right.
huh? You know what I mean? So I know that's my own conditioning that needs to be rewired. Uh,
No, it's true. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look at history, and these were the people that were building the railroads down there. So of course they was
right.
living down there and owning markets and shops and doing business right alongside everyone else. But I never even considered that before. And I'm like, oh, wait a second.
Two things I want to mention before we get out of here.
Yep.
One is should I start with the bad thing or the good thing first?
Give me the bad first. Give me the
All
bad.
right. The thing I noticed, man, and I know like I think the CIA has to review these movies before they come out. You know what I mean? For any anti-American image,
Right.
not imagery, but theme.
Ideology or themes or
Yeah.
yeah.
So what I noticed was like at the end, I'm not sure which twin this was, the one that survived, or I should
Mhm.
say died. That was
Right.
Stack, right?
Don't let me
All
say
right.
the wrong thing.
All right. Well, the one that
Uh,
ended up fighting the KKK, shooting it out
I
with the
I
KKK.
think I think Stack was the
Okay, so that was
vampire.
Smoke.
So
Okay.
I feel like Smoke for some reason might have been the one that survived, or you know,
We
like
gonna
you
call
said,
him Smoke. When Smoke sat up there and shouted out with the KKK,
yeah,
because I've been watching these movies for so long, man, the one thing in my mind is what popped up is please don't let him get killed. Please don't let him die. And I'm
right,
why every time you know what
right.
I'm saying in a
If
movie
you
out
take on the good old boys, we can't let you get away. Even if you get all of us, we can't let you get away.
every movie, every major film that has dealt with those themes, except for Django, man. Nat the Nat Turner
Right.
film, Nat had to make sure he got killed, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't you get any ideas? Don't
Right.
get hurt,
You
right?
can have all the fun you want in the world, but at the end of the day, you gotta remind you. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Are you gonna
yeah.
fight back? You ain't gonna win. You gonna lose.
Right, right.
And it's just like I don't like that. Um,
Yeah,
but on the good side, Ryan Coogler did not play into any negative stereotypes, and I love that because even
true.
Delroy Lindo's character, I think he was Delta Slim or something.
Hmm.
Uh, he really wasn't a negative stereotype. Nobody was a stereotype. Everybody had,
I didn't feel, yeah, I didn't feel that way about any of the characters. No.
yeah. It was so
Yeah.
I really like that. I guess I just kind of wish it had a happier ending for Smoke.
Well,
That's me.
I guess I'll give a little pushback just cause, but I'm thinking yes. However, I feel like the win or the you know the fact that and it was played by Buddy Guy, which was awesome to see him come in at the end. But I guess that was supposed to be our moral win was that all right? Well, at least he was able to live and grow old peacefully and.
What we do? You know what I'm saying? Like,
And hold on, I guess Smoke he was because this is how they painted it, right? At least he was able to go be with his kids, with his wife and his kid, and he's moving on to a peaceful afterlife. So it's still a good thing that he's dying right now, and his brother left him, and his wife's gone. So we're supposed to feel good for him. Come
yeah,
on,
for the black man, your pie is in the sky, not here on earth.
exactly. It's like, come on, D. We're supposed to feel good for him. He's going to heaven now. Now he can rest. you know.
Yeah, I'm yeah, not
Yeah,
for
no,
him.
that's a good point. It's funny you say that because I wasn't even thinking to say that, but when I watched the movie, I definitely was like, they gotta know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Because at this point, it's not really a hero's death. It's just kind of like this is subtle
yeah.
conditioning or something it's
And it made
subliminal
me.
messaging.
That's a good point. And now that we're talking about it, that's a good point. Now I'm on your side because if you're gonna let him do all that, because he killed like what 20 of them at least, like if you're gonna kill all of them, and then there was like one little bullet that hit his side at the end, like you might as well just let him just do the whole thing, just let him get a flawless victory at that point. 21-0, but they can't let like you said. And you said it before you even brought it up. There's certain requirements and certain things that can't be displayed or shown without. Yeah,
Right.
go
I
ahead.
mean, I felt that way about Black Panther, which was directed by Ryan Coogler as well. Like I give Ryan Coogler and
That's a yeah,
enough credit to say that it's he's still doing a job. So he still has a boss. He has to do certain things, whether he agrees with it or not. I don't know where his head is. Judging by
true.
the content he covers, he's not a stupid guy or
Right, right, right. He
some,
definitely seems to be aware, but also aware of the fact that what you just said, he has a boss, and that's a good point because I can remember there was a lot more controversy over Black Panther and the way he ended that, and just the depiction of Killmonger and Black Panther and the way he died. Killmonger died as well, and just
Black
the
Panther
general
working for
message
the
around
CIA.
that. Right, the CIA was the hero of the movie, and it's like, wait a second, what? And Killmonger is kind of like a Malcolm figure.
Yeah.
Black Panther is, it was, yeah, yeah,
And I hate to end it on a criticism, a critical note. So I'll
yeah,
just say, man, go see the movie. You figure it out for yourself. I can be kind
yeah,
of curmudgeon about certain things. I think it's maybe just my age and what I've seen and all that. But
right,
it is a good movie. If you haven't seen it, man, you late to the party. What is he doing? Go and
yeah,
see it
nah,
today.
definitely go check it out. It was worthwhile, and it's one of those ones that I say is worth seeing on the big screen too. You might as well go get the
Do
whole
not
experience.
bootleg this film, man. Go
Yeah,
check it out. Support the brother and support
yeah.
the great actors that he got in there.
I say that's the best selling point for me. Excellent acting, believable characters, and some new characters, some fresh faces too.
Yeah.
It was good.
So this has been the Cousins Cast.
That's
You got
right.
anything else you want to add, Chuck, before we bounce?
Mm, I'll just say I appreciate y'all for checking us out. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned. More Cousins Cast on the way.
Yeah, man. Take your greasy Cheeto crusted finger and hit that like button, man. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Like it's for free. You hit the
That's
like
right.
button for free. You don't have to pay
Yeah,
it.
right.
All
Give a
right.
little up.
But much peace, much love.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate y'all. We out.